Hello, hello. Welcome to another week of This Week in Community. I have now mastered the intro. But welcome. I am Rosie Sherry, your co-host today, alongside the wonderful Simon Tomes.
Oh, thanks, Rosie. Alongside the wonderful Rosie as well. Looking forward to it. Yeah, where do you want to go? What's been happening? What's been happening in your week in community? What's top of mind? What you've been working on? What you've been seeing, reading, watching, thinking about? All the things.
Yeah, I guess one big thing for MOT is we launched new profiles, which has been pretty cool. Profile pages. It took a lot longer than expected, I think. It felt like I thought it would be quicker, but it was actually quite a big chunk of work. But it's feeling really good. It's something that's kind of, I guess when we first launched it, we didn't really put a design effort into it. We just, kind of said, oh, this can go here and that can go there. But we didn't have as much data to play with, so I think that was, fair game at the time. And we were likely busy with other things. But yeah, as it's been growing over the past 18 months or 2 years, it was time for a refresh. So we put a bit more effort into it. You led the project with Andrew, our developer. But yeah, it's been pretty good to see that go live. Do you want to talk about any aspects?
Yeah. Well, I think it feels like when I made the decision, let's make a bit more effort than perhaps we might do when we put other features out. I thought, because profiles is like, we see it as the core to someone's existence in the community, like the MoTaverse. It's like them, it's their expression of themselves. It's the place where everything they're up to and the various different places of all the things they can get up to in the MoTaverse can be expressed on this page. So it's like, I thought it's really important we put more effort into it than we typically do. And that's why it took longer, because really thinking hard about the experience for the member, new members coming in, how can we help them kind of get started and start filling up their profile? How can we encourage active members to help new members as well, so they see a slightly different version of the page with some tips on how to get started? And then also, how can we encourage people who are going already and showing up to do more? So it's thinking really about that experience, and there was some sort of subtle things you and I mocked up a design, which is brilliant. And that was like the starting point, actually off the back of a whole team session that we had, thinking what do profiles mean? What could they look like? Why are they important? We had a real whole team discussion. Then you and I paired up, we mocked up some stuff, thinking let's frame it more aligned to blogs, because they feel familiar. We had this principle of what feels familiar to people. And also the other principle was, how can we make people look awesome? That was a huge goal, and we hope it's still, folks in our community recognize that. And then just kind of iterating through the different sections, there were lots of unanswered questions about what do we do with this, or how do we present that? How do we simplify it? How do we show stuff, not show stuff? How do we find the right volume of the page? The previous version was quite shouty, a lot of images, a lot of color, so we wanted to sort of calm it down a little bit, which is also, I think, a representation of the community where it's active but can be quite calm, and it hopefully brings joy to people. So it also, I think, represents joy. It's quite a leap to get there, but that always is in my head. How can people go on a profile and go, oh, this is cool, I like this? They're looking at someone else's profile going, oh, what they've been up to, I want to follow them, they're doing cool stuff. Or when someone looks at their own profile, they're like, yeah, I feel good about what I've been doing, and I want to do more. And they feel motivated to continue to show up. And there's different ways we do that. So yeah, longer than I think what the time we would typically spend on a feature. But this felt like a biggie. It was this is a big deal. And it also is the foundation for our other types of pages. So company pages, which are really important. and also for chapters, our chapters, which is still a fairly new initiative, kind of, and that needs some good attention. So foundation of the profile page can inspire the look and feel and the experience of those pages as well. Plus like concept team pages, which we're looking at as well. It's just, it becomes like the foundation thinking, not just presentation layer, but like how we think about how we make an entity, a thing look awesome. That's my take.
Yeah. That's also, it's cool. And it's great to see it live. And yeah, I guess like the familiar aspect is quite important. And I think one of the things that I remember triggering it at one point was I wanted to show my profile to someone, but I had just entered or added a bunch of glossary items.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, glossary items are cool, but it's like that's not what I wanted to showcase. It's like it's part of the contributions I make, but actually all my other contributions that I felt were more important were kind of got lost in the page. So that's I guess that's partly why like we were thinking about it. Is like how can we make something that people feel familiar with, and we went with a blog like feel to it, and I think it's working. I'm definitely happy with it. Looking forward to the ability to add a header so we can
Yes.
add a bit of fun to it. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's been a cool process to go through. And I guess the other aspect of it is, especially after I've just like finished a podcast for Into the MoTaverse, that again taps into the idea of like roles changing, and like I definitely think about that a lot in the MoTaverse. Is like increasingly like it's not just us; it's everyone having to think about what their roles are and what we do, and how we create tighten the loop. Um, think about velocity. How can we ship things as quickly as possible? And definitely, like what came up was just this idea of like, well, we do many things. We might have quality at the heart of things, or community at the heart. So, like, I've said this a few times, but like your job title is community lead, but it's like actually it's product. It's whatever it needs to be at the time. Testing, quality. You did all of those things, right?
Yes. Yeah.
You did testing for it. You did like beta testing things. I just think it's interesting, but that's fine as well. And I just think it's important to point out that increasingly it's harder to separate the roles, and maybe we don't have to because there's too much blurring overlap, or
Yeah.
when roles are too specific, then maybe that creates silos. But yeah, I guess we're also just finding what works for us as well and trying to adapt.
I wonder, like, what that would look like as a question to our fellow community professionals. Like, I know you have this title, but putting titles aside, imagine you are just called, everyone is called community builder. Map all your responsibilities or tasks. Maybe it could be tasks or things you've achieved, plus like responsibilities. Just try and map it all out and then see, what variety there is. So, in particular now, of course, I'm still pushing ahead with different product changes and helping gather requirements and get clarity on stuff. And I'll keep doing that, keep helping you and I prioritize our backlog. That goes without saying. So I've always been doing that. But now my shift from like product manager, community builder is now event community builder as we gear up for our mega conference, right? So my head is shifted. Now
Right.
portfolios is out, and it's not like we're going to ignore it. We can still get feedback. We've still got a beta testing channel. We'll take feedback, but it's good enough. It's probably better than good enough. And we've got some ideas on our backlog to improve it, including the header. The banner, the banner at the top of the header. But now my role has shifted to, right, I've got to really focus on our conference, MoTaCon, our annual conference. How can we get as many of our professional members there as possible. So my shift has happened the end of last week to right now. So just changing my approach and what I'm focusing on, and that's just the reality, right? And it comes with time. I think time has an impact on how we take responsibility for things as community builders. It could be project led, but I think it feels like for communities, particularly if there's an annual conference, it's the wave of that, the annual, the year itself, and when to ramp up. Because yourself and Deanna, for example, have been cranking up way before. Like Deanna in particular, with a kind of event planning mode as well. But also, at the point where we worked through the lineup, that was also a big spike in our activity, focusing on that. So yeah, it's sort of like riding the wave of it, and just kind of, I sometimes find if I do too much, it just becomes a blur. Whereas I can get my head into multiple modes, but if I'm in focus mode, that helps. So I think it helped with getting profiles out to go a bit more in on that. I know now I'm in MoTaCon mode. I can go in on that. And there's many parts to what that means, and the different types of people I'm going to contact, and how we connect with our members to get them to sign up and register. But it's still, there's focus now. We've got a clear date for it as well.
It's not just community where there's this ramp up, right, or the need to focus. It's kind of focusing on what the business needs, and when the business has needs, we all need to focus in on it. And it's literally like everyone is like, the focus is MoTaCon, so that needs to be a priority. So anything that comes up, any features that need working on, any data that we need to support our communications, it all needs to be prioritized according to what we need for MoTaCon, and that's fine. I think that's, especially as a small team, it's cool. But I like the riding the waves, because I like waves. Obviously.
Yeah, of course.
That's a nice kind of fun analogy. I could almost imagine you doing one of your Gemini videos of us riding the waves.
I need to start doing those Gemini videos in focus. So when it pops up, I'm like, I just can't help myself. And so I try to do it as quickly as possible. But yeah, but then that kind of comes back to just like, we've got to have joy in the community, right? Like, I think just before we went live, you shared a moment on the MoTaverse. Did someone say bugs on bicycles? And you happened to spot a post. What do bugs on bicycles, vacant storefronts, and the loneliness epidemic have in common? And you superimposed our delightful bug character on that image and just posted it as a moment, which I thought was brilliant. Because why not? Because why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't get a chance to. I think there were a few podcasts in that, and I was trying to figure out what's the connection to bugs on bicycles, but I haven't listened to it. But I used AI. But the bugs belong to Sarah Rose, an artist from Spokane, Washington, who uses her art to raise awareness about street safety and the protection of native insects. She's active in her local Strong Towns group, and shows up at council meetings and in local press. So it's kind of cool. Like, she's using bugs a bit like we use bugs.
Yeah.
As a art, it's a form of art, a form of expression. So
I love that. That's very cool.
I might need to dig up what it actually looks like. I haven't seen any examples yet.
Bug meet bug. Like, it could be a crossover.
Bug squared.
Cool. Yeah. What does bug squared look like? That's brilliant. Just thinking about like how, as community builders, we focus on conferences and major events, and like how to tie it all up with a member experience. Like, I think because we made a business decision to go, you don't buy a ticket separately anymore to buy to the conference, and then you buy a membership. It's like you have membership and then you get access to the conference, which has been interesting, right? Like, as far as a shift for how some people are in the industry, if that makes sense. We believe it totally does, and I think it's just simplifies things. Certainly, from an community operations perspective, it really does, and also it just makes sense. It's a great value proposition. You either want to come to the conference and then you get access to an incredible community with a whole load of amazing stuff going on, or you do it the other way around. You happen to get access and amazing community, and then, oh yeah, I can also go to the mega conference, which used to cost this much separately. So that's great. And I think the challenge for us is, how can we encourage people to think of a conference not really just as the day, not even just the week, which we are framing as like a bit of a, what's the word we're using? Not a festival, right? It's actually bigger than that. And I think this is the challenge. Like MoTaCon has started already. It could be that, people connect with other members and organize who they might want to catch up with, because we make that clear who's attending. So you can and people they can mark themselves as open to meet at MoTaCon. So they can see that list and then organize, oh, should we catch up? Probably great to see you. Send little messages to each other. Also, people can create moments about the talks or the workshops and say, oh, I'm looking forward to this, and here's what I think about it already. Or here's a thought from a couple of years ago when I attended it. I wonder what's different. Or here's a talk from last year. I'm going to reflect on it, and then it's going to make me think about this year. So it's like helping our members join it all up, that everything's connected. Like there's nothing is in isolation with this community. And that's, I think, is a real challenge for us as community builders, to help our members really be able to connect the dots like we see it as builders.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just think like we're doing things so differently that it's, how do we communicate that to people? And we're trying, we're,
That's right.
we're trying hard,
Yeah.
but people have different perceptions of things. I think people have, lack of attention span, or simply very busy to actually pay attention to what's on offer. Um, and some companies have things against subscriptions as well, so that can work against stuff. But it's not like we don't offer the option to invoice. We do, but I guess a lot of people just assume stuff. But on the flip side, it's like amazing, like what we can achieve as community. And it's a risk. It's a real risk, and it's a transition. So I guess we'll see how it lands in the end. But it's scary to make such a big change. And some people won't get it, and I have seen things in places say, "Oh, you have to have a membership now," but also, "Oh, isn't it amazing that you can get all of this with just one membership?" So I think it's important. Um, I guess I guess my ask would be like for people to trust what we're doing, and to just look a little bit at like actually what we're doing is um quite amazing, and compared to like other offerings out there, like pound for pound, or whatever you want to call it, is it's just like the value is amazing. But I also think the value, you have to spend time in it a bit to see that.
Yeah, totally.
But also as a team, we can do so much more because it's all on one platform, and it's not multiple different platforms now. And we've been putting all this time into getting rid of other platforms and having our data in one place. And things that used to take us hours takes us minutes now. And it's all those wins that makes our community better in the long run. So it's very much a long-term game thinking. But I can't do it any other way. I'm just like, imagine going back to how it was before. I'm just like, no, can't do it.
It's too
Can't do
too
it.
hectic, too disjointed. I think, I mean, you make a really good point about how do we, as builders, give people the experience that we know is amazing. And of course we're biased, of course we are, but also we have a lot of evidence to say this is a good experience for people. How as builders do we give people a taste of something without just saying you just have to go all in and do it? And that is really hard, right? And this goes for all community builders out there, not just us in our current context. Like, what do you give away is the wrong term. I don't want to use that because it feels kind of not old fashioned, but just not, maybe it's not give away. It's more like, just how do you get someone to trust you and believe in what you believe without like being ultra salesy, without using horrible tactics to convince people to hand over their money when they really, you know, it's just that's not us, right? Like, that's never going to be our approach. Sort of the dark pattern approach to convincing people that they can't possibly miss out. So I find that really interesting, because it is, for a lot of people, I think a conference is such a big deal. And I think, you made a point earlier on in a team meeting earlier on about maybe some people have had bad experiences at conferences in the past, and that influences their perception of what a conference will be like again. So it's, how do we help people get over that and go, oh yeah, whatever's happened in the past is in the past, whatever. I'm just going to focus on now, the present, and going in with an open mind to experience something, to see what's possible. But, to do that is like changing people's minds and their default operating modes. And that's, that's hard. And I guess part of that is leadership, is showing the way and hopefully inspiring people to take a bit of a punt and take a bit of a leap. And maybe that's about us being a bit more open about that saying to some people, we know this is a leap. We really do. We get it. We totally get it. And we just encourage you to take that leap. We believe you will benefit on the other side of the leap.
And I guess it's also pretty amazing, just like how things appear that we kind of know would appear, but we just start doing them, and then we get all these other ideas. So like last year we weren't talking in terms of a festival. It's only the past couple of months we're like, oh, let's add a dinner to the event. Now we have chapters. Now we can, or now it's all like all the event registration can be tied into membership. So now we can create these little satellite events that happen around the conference. And it seems, there's nothing new in adding events around the conference. That's not innovation, right? But then it's like, oh, we're doing a one-day conference, but actually we're now starting to add satellite events. So is it really a one-day conference? And we're like, oh no, it's more like a festival.
Yeah.
But then it becomes community-led, because like there's certain community people who are leading different events. And it's just a taster this year of what's possible. So we have like an engineering managers casual catch up. There's a dinner. There's the Brighton walk the following day. But next year, like with the festival mindset, we could think better about like how to do that. Like, could teams lead an event? Like, come meet, a team. If they're hiring, or
Drive,
just like,
definitely.
yeah, and that could be part of it, right? So yeah, it just becomes really interesting. That's kind of what we see. There's like possibilities, like real possibilities of being able to easily, well, I wouldn't say easily, but manage, manage it better. And it all ties into MOT profiles and credibility and, all these things. So it feels amazing, but it's definitely, challenging to get people to see it. and sometimes we can't explain it all. It becomes too much to explain it all. But we go back to the trust thing of like, we're just trying to build something special, and like I'm definitely of the mindset of just like fuck it, like we have to. I have to do things in the way that I believe will drive change.
Yeah.
I can't do things in the old way. Like there's so many things in the old way that I just think we have to get rid of. And this is us shedding that. And yeah, it's just like, yeah, I don't know. Come along.
I mean, yeah, lots of thoughts. Just before I share some, just great comments from Demi Van Malcott. Yeah, good to see Demi in the chat. Convince people to take the leap. That's exactly what I'll be doing in the coming months. Yeah. Recently, they've given me some colleagues to complete lead of the test community in my company. Very cool. We went from people who just take the actions to the people who have to come up with the ideas. We're currently figuring out what we want community to be, which isn't easy. Convincing people that this community will be different and worth a shot after bad experience with how it was won't be easy. Yeah, I'm hearing you, Demi. Yeah. And it's like, I think a lot of it, and you described it there, Rosie, is that conviction. Because if we don't believe it, then no one else is, right? So we have to take a punt. We have to take risks. We have to be bold. I also think it's like a paradigm shift, and we can try and lead the way, which I think we're trying to, or we can kind of wait for things to catch up and then ride the wave behind the wave, which, probably is missing opportunities. The smaller wave, I don't know. Depends about, I'm trying to think of size of waves and how they work. I think they come in sets of 7 and 8, but there you go. My point being is
not 6 or 7.
Not 6 or 7.
Sorry.
And I guess I don't know why those two numbers make us giggle like children. I don't understand why. Next, we'll be putting on little virtual hats and masks. I'll let people work that one out. If they go on the ministryoftesting.com soon, they might be able to see a fun image. But coming back to the point, I think, and I've started reading again. I picked up again This Is Strategy by Seth Godin, and the earlier chapters or sections, there's not really in chapters, parts are about systems, like systems thinking, and that got you and I thinking in systems much earlier in the year when we both started reading it, and it really helped. We were thinking like, how are things joined up? How do we respect the existing system, but how do we also, if we think there's change to be had, how do we create that change within an existing system? And I think this is what we're facing. MoTaCon as a conference that's wrapped up in a membership is a great example of that. It is a change to an existing system. We believe it's better. We believe it's simpler. We believe it just makes absolute sense. But for some folks, it might be like, nope, can't quite get there. So it is time, right? But we have to have the conviction to go for it and stick with it, and then adjust accordingly if we need to. But got to give this stuff a go, right?
I think it's great. I think everything we're doing is great, and all the partners and sponsors that are coming on board, it's kind of like as a hopeful sign of that. I think there's a lot of positivity, and still, a changing downward. Who knows what the market? It's really hard to make sense of it, but I still pride myself on the fact that we're still here, when many other communities are not. And I keep stumbling upon more and more examples, just companies and communities just like not existing at all or completely shifted. And yeah, I mean, I don't want to start naming names, but yeah, there's this, as I do my like community research, I've been doing case studies, and just like the links I collect anyways, I come across stuff all the time. I'm like, oh wow, I remember them.
Yeah, I bet.
And then they're like not there anymore, or they've completely downsized or completely shifted to something else, and it's like, oh wow, interesting. And I think that could have quite easily been the MoTaverse. They
Yeah.
could have been like that, but we're not, because tenacity. I don't know. Yeah, just the conviction to be audacious probably has a lot to do with it. But yeah, just for me, it's literally getting older in life, and like, if I'm going to do this, I'm just going to do it
Yeah.
like how I want to do it, or how I believe is best.
Yeah.
Even though it's a bit scary, but I think it's been nothing but positive for the team, like how we've grown together, and I think that's probably an understatement. But I think like the team has gelled in many positive ways,
Totally.
and that's something to be proud of.
There is a link to another book I finally got round to finishing. So it's the book by Ichiro Kishimi and Fumitake Koga, The Courage to be Disliked. And I'll just do a spoiler alert because you get to the end and like it just talks about community, and I'm like, of course it's going to talk about community. Of course it is. Like what the authors, their take on it. And it's based on like Adlerian psychology for those that haven't read it. And it's kind of saying like, well, I'll quote it from the book. It says it's about community feeling after all. It's making the switch from attachment to self, so self-interest, to concern for others, social interest, and gaining a sense of community feeling. 3 things are needed at this point: self-acceptance, confidence in others, and contribution to others. And I've got some like extra thoughts on what those 3 things mean if we wanted to get into that. But it's more like, I think us as a team and as individuals have gone through that process. Like, we all show up just as much as ourselves as we can be. Like, we try and just try and be a bit bold and a bit audacious and take risks and just go, okay, nothing has to be perfect, but let's make things good enough. Let's try our best. Let's be kind. Let's really believe in our members. Like that concept of, once we got past self-acceptance, it's then confidence in others. It's unconditional. Whoever shows up, we believe we can collaborate with them to make them be awesome and to have that self-acceptance, and then confidence in others as well. So it passes it on. And also contribution to others. That's just part of that process. We're not to win approval or be praised. It's just like, we're just there for the sake of other people. And that's not to discredit our needs or desires or things that we want to do. It's actually connected. And then it comes back to the loop of self-acceptance, confidence in others, contribution to others. Just keep going around and around and around. I thought that was very cool. And I know you and I a while back, I think I said to you about the word audacious, and I know you've latched onto that, and it's brilliant that you have, because it's like, we've got to be bold, and that I think comes from, if we viewed it with this community feeling model that's described in the book, I think it connects well with that.
I think so. Confidence in ourselves. Maybe that's self-acceptance.
Yeah, exactly that. Exactly that. Yeah. Yeah.
I've definitely seen that journey for myself, for you, for others.
Yeah.
We've all like leaped in confidence. But yeah, the confidence in others is like, we've totally shifted with that. It's just like, we don't place judgment on people's capabilities. The changes we made, some people were saying, well, if you put a payment barrier, like membership required to participate, then what about the diversity of voices? But actually, the diversity of voices has only increased.
Yeah.
The
Totally.
new voices, like so many new voices, building up the confidence. People who never thought they could speak are speaking, and
Yeah.
it's we don't tend to shout out about it, but it's like, that's created confidence in others, but it's also created confidence in ourselves, because we're the ones showing up, like supporting that every step of the way. Like every podcast, every virtual event we do is like, that's all kind of tied in. So
Mm.
it's funny how things come back to community, and like, I've got that book too, but I've never managed to finish reading it. But it's funny that it comes
Yeah.
back to community.
I was going through it and I was like, it's gone there. It's gone. It's sort of a community word. I was like, oh, that's brilliant. I'm like, of course it would. Also, I think that the self-acceptance or confidence in self, it's like, it points out like the two people in the book debate. They're like, say, oh, do you mean self-affirmation, that you just convince yourself that you're great? And the philosopher in the conversation is like, no, it's about just honestly saying who you are right now, stuff you're capable of, stuff you're not capable of, but just acceptance of that is that, and you can choose to do something with that. Like, it's not like, it's not faking it until you're making it. It's like, it's just, we are who we are now, and therefore let's do something about it. And switching to, well, let's have concern for others, which doesn't dismiss our concerns for ourselves, of course. We still need to put on the life jacket before we put it on someone else in the plane. So not the greatest of analogies, but I sometimes think of that. Then we can then focus on others, right? We can focus on collaborate with them, having belief in them and their capabilities, whatever their capabilities are, and collaborate with them. And I have seen that there's been a step change in our approach in the community where we just love collaborating with everyone who's up for it. It's just like, and people who are professional members are showing commitment to the community and showing up for that reason. So, your point about perhaps some people not quite understanding why to do a lot of things and collaborate, it requires a professional membership. It's like flipping it and saying, well, it shows you're up for it, and then it's the enabler of doing lots of exciting things.
Yeah, I do believe it will come. It will continue to come, and I feel I've never felt so positive about the work that I'm doing. So,
That's great. That's cool.
There's wins. There's wins. I don't know what to say. But yeah, it feels really good. Don't want to stop.
Yeah. Well, it's just sort of like just relentless desire to constantly improve and have an impact. Like, what else are we going to do? there's no, no other choice but to want to improve things and achieve more. And I think, for the listeners today, if they're not aware of your writing as well, Rosie, on Rosieland, like you mentioned about the company database that you started to build out, that's worth checking out. Your research into organizations and the communities that are happening around them or as part of them. Lots of good writing happening. This is cool.
Yeah. I just think overall there's a lot of change happening. I was reading something recently, just an article, how 6 tiny newsrooms are building trust through community listening. And I've been following like a lot of journalistic type community, and there's just so much overlap and so much opportunity as well, I think, for doing community differently. Journalism tends to, or community-centered journalism tends to tap into a lot of listening. But I wonder if, there's just so much room for improvement, right? If they have the right systems in place, or, how do they manage that? And I think like if there was this like gathering of those two worlds, I think it could be pretty special. Like, I don't know. I just think like, especially like local news is like such an undertapped thing, and a lot of local newspapers are closing down. But I just think there's opportunity to create good, sustainable businesses around it if you combine good community thinking. Try to not rely on social media and the big tech companies, and figure out how to connect more authentically. So yeah, like I always say that if the MoTaverse doesn't work out, or if I go to retire at some point, I'm starting like my own local website just about
Yeah,
my local area, just
totally.
to, you know, so much opportunity
Yeah.
to connect as well locally,
Well, the kind of the everything going on to the internet, big social media taking over, the kind of local. What did we used to have where I grew up? There was a thing called Diamond Free Ads. It was sort of local news, but also like a yellow pages type thing. But then we had the Advertiser, which is a local paper, so local journalism plus paid for by adverts. It's just destroyed, right? That has been destroyed. Um, but if there's a he might be on your radar, Mike Galsworthy. Just looked him up. He's the founder of the Bylines Network, which is local newspapers across the UK. I don't think they go any bigger than the UK. But yeah, some of the stuff he's up to is quite interesting. How he's trying to really focus on local journalism. So maybe we try and get him on and chat to him about what he's up to, and get some
Interesting.
thoughts around community and journalism and how the two are interconnected. Because you could say like local stories, community stories. Like we from our perspective, we are trying to help people share their stories or share their stories on their behalf. We're right about what some of our members are up to, and they're up to cool stuff. Because maybe they're not in a position to do that, and we want to amplify them and promote them and big them up and say, hey, check out what this person's doing, and also give them the platform to share their story, whether it's a talk at MoTaCon, it could be a one-to-one conversation on Into the MoTaverse podcast or a call for insights, or we encourage them to write a moment, which is a blog post. So really is a connection there with local storytelling of real stories, like what's really happening. None of this sort of sensationalist nonsense. I just don't have any time for it. Just
No,
not interested in that. It's more like what's happening for real. People want real, particularly with all the AI slop and all of that stuff.
yeah. I just think, like, journalism is being influenced by community, and we are being influenced by journalism.
Yeah, yeah,
And it's just so much fun.
yeah.
And like I've picked up some journalism books. I'm trying to like just get a bit better at it.
Mm.
I've contemplated doing some proper courses, but I just don't think I'd ever. Yeah, it's not the right time in my life. But I have pondered, like, should I seek to look to do get a certification to be a proper journalist. I thought that would be interesting. But yeah, not yet. I want to do too much basically, and I need to stop myself. Stop!
Yeah.
Not another thing. But yeah, I mean, like our
Doesn't
writing,
sound
like,
familiar.
yeah, it's very journalisticy, and that's
Mm.
inspired by
Yeah,
journalism, right?
yeah,
We've been sharing internally, and then we have Claude skills that kind of help us structure things to get stuff done a bit quicker, just like
yeah.
outlines and stuff. Um, but it's helped us write, right? It's helped us
Absolutely.
put pen to paper and like get stuff out. Um, and actually, it's helped Deanna write as well.
Mm.
It's given her a structure, and like she this it's not her role. She never like traditionally like wrote stuff, but like her output is like so much better with like a journalistic
Big time.
guide,
Yeah,
as part of our culture, plus a bit of Claude, um, but not not entirely. But yeah,
yeah,
I mean, Claude is definitely there to help her map stuff out, but it's stuff that hasn't naturally come to her, or is not her natural skill set, but is fast becoming one with,
yeah,
because we all do everything,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah, well,
It's like,
coming back
uh,
to the point you made earlier on, how our roles adapt and change as community people based on context, what's important, what's the business goal, what's the organization focus, and that, what's the needs of the community. I think that writing just feels like one of those essentials things. Like I reflect back to share a personal story. I've never been good at writing. Like, hated it, hated reading, hated writing. It's terrible. And it was actually two people who I worked with that were good writers that I learned from, and then learn from yourself all the time. But before all that stuff, so it was Andrew Easter, who you've recorded and Into the MoTaverse. He used to blog. He used to have a tech blog, and he was a really good writer. And I was like, wow, I work with someone who has a tech blog. This is so cool. I hadn't even considered it. And then working with Rajit, who also worked with Andrew. So Rajit, who we had a couple of businesses together, he was so particular with the way he wrote. I was always like, wow, he's so good at this. Like pre-AI, he clearly wasn't using any AI tool. It was way before that stuff. I was like, how does he do it? I would just like obsess over how he would write and study his tone and his style. And he just had a real natural way of just being really engaging, really powerful writer. So yeah, inspired by those two, and I was like, I've just got to keep trying to write and write and write and write, and that, yeah, kind of build up that confidence. But I love writing now, absolutely love it. Just got to go for it. And I think as community builders, it's so important that we do practice the art of writing as much as we can. I know video is taking over, etc., etc. But I still believe in the power of writing. It's so important. And to encourage people to write. When they say, I'm not a writer, it's like, well, you're at this stage of your writing and you will get better as you go. Like any skill, people will just get better. So it's like when people say, I'm not a writer, it's like, you're just at this level and that's where you're at. You're not a writer. You are.
Yeah. And I guess like contemplating how we've been doing it and what's made us better writers. I never considered myself a writer, but then I forced myself to. And I guess I had blogs here and there, but nothing like proper. And I've always been like active in community and forum posts, but it's not quite the same as writing. But starting Rosieland is just like what made it for me, and I literally can't stop now. It's like it used to be a struggle to get one post out a week, and now often I do like 2, 3, 4, depends on the week. And more so recently, I'm just like rejecting AI as well, and just going for not caring about spelling mistakes or
Totally.
just shipping it and it being hopefully a bit more raw. But yeah, it depends as well. I mean, yeah. But yeah, I guess thinking about the process of getting better at writing has within our team, which is mostly, well, I guess 3, 4 of us. Sarah Deary's on maternity leave at the moment, but like even she has picked up, increasingly things. But I think we should all be writers, and I guess our approach has been like we review each other's work. But with AI, we have Claude skills for each type of content to get things going, and Claude learns from our previous writing, so it feels a bit more natural. So we're reviewing less, I would say.
I would agree with that. I
Definitely.
was going to make that comment. Yeah, we're
Yeah,
definitely reviewing
definitely.
this. Yeah.
And it just kind of happened. But before, like, I guess 2, 3 years ago, everything that went out, I would review. Um, or at least one person would review. We made that a thing. It's like someone's got to review it before it goes out to improve upon it and help us rebuild the language we want to use. And I think that was a great process. But yeah, don't really do as much reviewing. A little bit, but yeah, not really as much. And partly that's our skills improving. Partly it's processes. Yeah, and we all get creative, and I think that's the beauty of it. We all come up with our own little things and ideas as we're creating it, and little things, the sparks of ideas in our own writing. But yeah, like enabling a whole team to publish is interesting, though not the whole team is publishing, but yeah, the devs don't publish, basically, and the finance team, which is fine. But
totally fine.
It's fine. It's all good. Yeah, it's been interesting, and I also think just like the fact that we are publishing a lot as a team is amazing progress. Not everyone does that.
Yeah, it's a good point. Like we try and ship something a day, and that could be in the form of a moment, just from ourselves. It could be an article, an insight article, or could be all sorts, right? It could be, an email to all of our members. It could be a news post, newsletter. There's loads of different opportunities to write, and we could even get meta about it. And I wrote 10 moments about what to write about.
Very meta.
It was super meta. But it was also because we really believe in it as we are a community of practice. We want to help people articulate their practice in written format. And it's like, what is it you practice? Get it on paper, digital paper, and put it out there. And that's it. It's simple. When I say it out loud, it is so simple, right? And I know there are a gazillion barriers that we can put in front of ourselves to stop doing that. But the platform is there for people just to go for it and share all of their learnings and everything that is possible. And that's cool when people do that. They inspire other people to do it. People learn in many different ways, and being able to read something that someone's articulated is great. It's not working in self. It's coming back to what I quoted earlier on. Concern for others is a social interest, and some people can also say, well, it's actually just useful for me to articulate my thoughts. Yeah, it really does have an impact on others. Contribution to others. It's great.
Yeah, Demi Van Malcott in the comments says about having a time and a place. She says, for my last article, I had trouble getting started writing, so I decided that every time I would get a seat on the train to or from work, I would write. It somehow gave myself a set time and place, and I would be in a good mood when writing because I don't always have a seat. Not sure that last sentence quite made sense. I've been in a good mood when writing. I don't know if she wouldn't be in a good mood when she didn't have a seat. Maybe.
Perhaps.
Who knows? Perhaps. But the interesting angle is, so we've embraced writing as a team, and we've embraced giving voice to community members better, like the call for insights, like casual conversations. People, a lot of people doing them have never spoken before, and then they realize that actually they can do it once they do it, and it's not that bad. And your 10 posts about what to write is a step towards helping people write. But maybe like the next stage is like, okay, what do we do next to actually get more people writing, getting people creating more moments to help them, share whatever. But maybe, I think that's probably a big part of our next journey is like, how can we scale this up a bit more? Not because it's because of scale, but actually it would benefit the whole industry if everybody just wrote a little bit more about whatever they're experiencing. And that's interesting for me to think about.
Dare I say a writer's chapter?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Said it live on This Week in Community, so it's going to happen. I mean, there is something in supporting each other, a cohort of writers, little challenges, that kind of thing. There's quite a fair amount of stuff out there, isn't there? What's that 30-day writing challenge that I used to see on X back in the day? It's like you post a thing every day and it gives you a framework and all that stuff. The ship it one, I can't remember what it was called, but yeah,
it's almost we could like set up an event to have silent co-working session.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
people come, we have a little chit chat beforehand, and we go on quiet for 45 minutes,
Like it.
and hopefully we publish something at the end. Could be quite fun.
That accountability is brilliant. That's a great idea. Come along like a creation session, but it's dedicated time. You know you're going to be present. You know you've got a bunch of people that are also doing the same thing. There's power in that, right?
Yeah.
Creation hour.
Yeah. I was thinking of like a creator type event, so it's not limited to writing, but
Ooh,
maybe limiting it to writing is a good idea.
yeah.
It's like this is just for a certain type of content that people feel comfortable with.
I mean, if
Yeah.
we really wanted to niche down on it, it could be make a moment. Come along and create a moment. You got 45 minutes. Come make a moment with us. We're all going to write a moment.
Yeah.
Got time. You know, just sound out any ideas in the first 15 minutes. I'm thinking about doing. What do you reckon? I imagine people would get behind that and be like, yes, just do it. Like we'd all be saying that. Or like, oh, that's interesting. Have you considered? Or here's some questions it creates in my mind. And then that person might want to take those questions and answer them as part of their moment. Yeah,
Yeah.
make a moment. Because we're going to do
So,
that at MoTaCon, right?
yeah.
We're going to encourage people to write because we tried it
Yeah.
at Leading with AI and it was brilliant. It had all these people
Yeah.
writing and creating in the last, and it was short. We only gave 15 minutes. So it was
Yeah.
a little bit too fast, I think, but it was still great to see a whole wave of these moments appear on the site. It was awesome.
Yeah. So at MoTaCon the plan is, because everyone's a member and everyone can post a moment. If they want swag, they have to post a moment, and then they come to a table to claim their swag.
It's brilliant.
So I think that would be fun.
Yeah.
I was thinking of micro moments and mega moments,
Oh,
small swag
nice.
and big swag, maybe.
I like that. So okay. So we could frame the make a moment as practice to get to yourself to MoTaCon. I mean, just to kind of get in the groove, just to get a taster of it. Of course, it doesn't have to be related to MoTaCon, but maybe it's a bit of a tie in there. Get some practice in with make a moment sessions.
Yeah, so micro would be 99 words or less.
Oh, brilliant.
Medium would be up to 404, and anything over 404 is a mega moment.
Perfect. That works so well. Yeah, I like that a lot. I love it.
Yeah.
I just love that people will test that boundary. Like, I'm on 405. Well, that's 100. Just got over. But I would expect nothing less, and I mean that in a positive way. It's brilliant.
Absolutely.
That's very cool. I guess we should wrap things up soon, right?
Yeah.
And do like a 60-minute constraint to wrap things up.
Awesome. It's been good.
Yeah.
And yeah, see you next week.
See you next week, and see you around the MoTaverse. See you later. Bye.
Bye.